Hi, it's Capping Weight with Weight Endurance. This is a helpful hints video for one of our sessions in the 4-week strength cycle designed for cyclists during race season. This is week 1, session 2. I will review each of the core movements and each of the superset movements and give you tips on how to do the exercises properly and how to reduce the difficulty level of the movement. Let's start with the core series. We have 4 movements. The first is a weighted sit-up. You can use a kettlebell, a dumbbell, or some other sort of weight like a plate to do the sit-up. I'm going to demonstrate with a 15-pound kettlebell. There are a couple different ways you can do this movement. You can hold it to your chest, do your sit-up, and come up like this. You can put it over your head, be careful, tap, and then tap in front of you. Just be careful you don't knock your head. Or you can get a little bit more shoulders into it, hold it above your head and press, or above your chest and press to the ceiling. I think that last version is probably the most difficult, but I like to mix it up and do a little bit of each of them. Next, we have the Russian seated twist. I'll demonstrate again with a kettlebell, but you can use a dumbbell or some other type of weight. It's more difficult with your feet off the floor, and I'll demonstrate it that way, but you can certainly put your feet down if you need to. So, let's see, I think I'll hold it like this. No, like this. I'm gonna hold it this way now. Feet off the floor, I press my heels together, and then reach and twist, reach and twist. You don't have to touch the ground. With a kettlebell, that would be a little awkward, but I'm squeezing my booty, keeping it tight. That's a good one. Let's fast forward to the Jane Fonda movement and come back to the stability ball knee tuck, just because I'm already on the ground. Jane Fonda is a hip series. If you don't know who Jane Fonda is, she was an icon in the 70s, teaching aerobics through home videos. And one of her classic moves was lying on her side and doing leg lifts. So this is a sequence where you have 5 different movements. You're going to do 10 reps per movement, if you can. The caveat is you may not be able to the first time. You might do 5 to 7 reps in session 1 and just see how it goes. It can really make those rotator muscles scream. So lie on your side comfortably. You can be down on the ground or up with your head on your palm. Have that lower leg just comfortable. I like to bend my bottom leg. I'm going to stack my hips one on top of each other rather than leaning backwards. So stacked hips. And then I would start with the basic leg lift. So I'd do 10 reps of this. Each rep is going to be nice and slow. After I've done 10, I'm going to do 10 small, slow, clockwise circles right here. 10 of those. And then 10 butt kicks, nice and slowly. And then I would do 10 counterclockwise circles. This is where it can really start to burn. Try not to speed up as you go. And then I would finish with 10 knee to chest. This actually feels like a relief after having done the other reps. Then I would switch sides to balance my hips out. Last but not least is the stability ball knee tuck. You'll need one of these inflatable balls that you can pick up at a local sports store or buy online. It's a little awkward to get into position. I find it easiest to put the ball on my belly, roll forward until the ball is around your shins. Let me make sure you can see what I'm doing here. So basically you're in an elevated front plank position. I'm going to pull my knees into my chest, extend my legs, pull my knees into my chest, extend my legs. As I'm extending, I'm going to concentrate on squeezing my butt so that I protect my low back. And it really works that entire backside. Plus you'll feel this movement in your shoulders and your abdominals. That's a good one. I'll move the ball out of the way for a second. Okay, then we get, so that was the four movements of the core set, and go through 3 times if you do have time in your session. The superset has 6 movements. There's not a special order, but I'll just go through from top to bottom as it is programmed in the app. It starts with a single leg agility hop, and then we're going to move through some other like push-pull movements and some strength movements. The single leg agility hop is really can be like a free-for-all here. I'm going to be on one foot. I'm going to jump as quickly as I can in different directions for 20 seconds on one foot, and then switch legs. You can get creative and go diagonally, forward and back. There's really no rules. It's just about moving back and forth as quickly as you can. That works the feet muscles, the ankles, the calves, and you get to work on your balance as well. Get your heart rate up a little bit too. Next, we have a heavy goblet carry. This is one of our movements that we call a core to extremity movement, where you're trying to control your core as you have something heavy out, like away from your body at your extremities. If you do not have a heavy kettlebell or heavy dumbbell or something heavy you can find in your house, like a giant bag of rice, for example, then you may not be able to do this movement. It won't really do much for you. But see what you have. I do have a 35-pound kettlebell that I'll use. It's pretty heavy. You're gonna hold it just off your chest, and you're gonna walk for 45 seconds. If you're just in your garage or your basement, you may just be walking forward and backwards. You could go outside and walk down your sidewalk, but it's definitely challenging as it's away from your chest. Oofda, kind of gets everything there. All right, next we have a single arm bent over row in a split stance. So I will find one bell here. I'll use this 20-pound kettlebell. I love this movement because you're in a split stance, which means your feet are mimicking where they would be on your bike pedals. So I'll stand like this, just a little bit wide, like hip width apart here. I'm gonna hinge for my hips. That loads my hamstrings. My belly's tight, my back's engaged. I can feel it in my glutes as well. I'll grab the bell, using my other arm for balance, and pull that elbow up to the ceiling. And do 10 reps on each side, or less if I need to. And then I would switch sides and do 10 more here. So you really get some good hamstring loading as you get a pulling motion. And that's very applicable to what you need to be able to do, especially on a mountain bike, controlling your bike, pulling and pushing. Next, we have a single leg box tap down. This is one of my favorites because you can do it anywhere. If I am outside, I'll do this on my front step, or at a park, you could do it like on a raised bench or something. So don't worry if you don't have a box. You can also do it inside on your stairs. It's really important. Oops, you can't see me there. It's really important to keep the weight back on the heel of the fixed foot. So you're gonna tap down, push back up. Tap down, push back up. I'm loading the hip of the non-moving leg. Let me show you from the side. It's like I'm sitting back in an imaginary chair. What am I doing here? Here you can see this way. All right. So I'm gonna load this hip. Sit back in this heel, tap, come up. I'm feeling it right here. If you're feeling it in your quad, that means you've probably rocked forward on your toes. So you should feel that back in your butt, in your hip. Really activates you before your bike ride too. Our press for this session is a single arm kneeling overhead press. If you have a kettlebell, the challenge is holding that kettlebell basically upside down, which is an unstable position. Let me show you. So instead of holding, this is fine, this is a modification, but the challenge is holding that bell like this, it's wobbly, and having to press up. That's pretty difficult. If I showed you on my other arm, oh, you'll see like my non-dominant arm is much weaker and it is definitely more challenging. If you don't want to do it that way, you can stand and do a press. You don't have to turn the bell upside down. I'm just giving you an option to keep it fresh, keep it creative, and challenge yourself to do something out of the ordinary. All right, last but not least, we have our hip hinge movement, which is a single leg Romanian deadlift with a little bonus. We're gonna pull our knee up into hip flexion. So I'll show you the movement as is and then show you a modified version if you're just beginning in this workout session or this workout program. All right, I'll show you with my right hand holding the bell. My right leg will go behind me. My left leg is on the ground. My knee is soft. Don't lock out that leg on the ground. I'll go down into a deadlift and then pull my knee up and pull that bell into my front rack position. So that's 1, 2. You may have to put your feet down once in a while. I lost my balance as I pulled up. And I think I have 5 per side. You can do more or less if you need to. If that's too hard for you, start with just a basic Romanian deadlift. And the most doable version is holding the bell with 2 hands. And so it would look just like this, down and up. Down and up. Let me show you from the side. This knee is soft. I'm hinging for my hips. Oops, that box is in the way. So down and up. All right, keep working at these exercises. You will see some of these movements pop in a upcoming session, so you can keep practicing them. Let me know if you have questions. Most importantly, have fun.